Hello everyone, welcome to the breakdown. This one is going to be on Wartile, a game developed by the Playwood Project and published by Deck 13. This is a pretty different one. Looking at the screenshots, you would think this game is actually turn-based, and it is not, to my surprise, while playing it. This is a bit hard to describe. It is, I suppose, best described as a strategy game, simply, although that doesn't really tell you much. And honestly, it kind of reminds me of that sort of era in the PS2 game era when some of the bigger publishers and things were not really afraid to take risks as much, and we got some really interesting genre melding games. Games like oh, what was it called? That one that it was sort of like a Hero Quest style board game back on PS2, where it was sort of a hex-based, turn-based strategy where you and another player were had various tokens on the board and could move them around in a turn-based fashion, taking territories, and when they actually met each other, it resulted in a actual side-on fighting game. Wrath Unleashed. It was called Wrath Unleashed. That game was awesome, by the way. And that whole era of games on the PS2, where we had small and large publishers not as afraid to take risks, create some really interesting games, melding different genres and creating various just sort of odd ideas. I remember there were a couple of really interesting games where you actually were on a dragon. There were you were commanding a dragon and commanding armies. There was another one that was an actual functional RTS, even a multiplayer RTS called Goblin Commander. That was actually kind of great. It was a bit more like a kind of light RTS involving things similar to, I suppose, the Heroes of Might and Magic style of stuff, but with more RTS-like mechanics in it. Really, that whole era is what this game reminds me of, when some of them were, pretty good, and some of them were a little flawed, and things like that. This is flawed, and a little rougher on the edges, but it has some really, really neat ideas, and I think is definitely worth your time. So what we have is a miniatures style game that is a real-time strategy, but not an RTS like, StarCraft or Command & Conquer or anything like that, that uses a very beautiful art style and these figurines that you actually collect and deck out like you would collectible figures from, like Warhammer Fantasy or something like that, and take into battles with you that you will then go along this big miniature-style hex-based board, but again, in real time, even though I know it looks very turn-based. So I actually have some stuff here. This is how you deck them out, and again, like I mentioned, it is a bit like something like Warhammer, kind of, and how you actually do this. It's not presented in a RPG inventory-like way, it's presented in a it's showing you what you can put on them, and you just drag it over and put it on them. There's no inventory with slots, you just sort of put it on them and then they wear it. It's actually kind of neat. And you can see your various figures and what they have, and all these various stats. And they are actually updated in real time, as you can see down there in the bottom left. Like I said, it looks a little bit rougher on the edges because we're used to seeing these very standardized laid out inventory screens, and this doesn't have that, but I actually kind of like that it doesn't. I don't think this fits every single game. I wouldn't want to see this in every game, but I like that it's here in this one. So what I actually have on this guy is pretty good. I'm not sure if I want to give him this. Now this is obviously better than what he has, but he's also my tank. And I don't necessarily want to give my tank the best DPS weapon. That doesn't necessarily make any sense. So you kind of have to decide what you want everyone to have. I'm going to keep going around. Hang on. I unfortunately don't have anything for her or him. Or I guess I should then. So here you go. Boop. Nice new weapon. Alright. You also have these. And this is a sort of stat customization system, these tokens, and as they level up, they will get more slots. And they also have one of these unique slots, which are represented by these silver tokens here. And these are very rare drops, effectively. I've only ever gotten 2 of them in the time I've been playing. And these are basically small stat increases, and you can also get these greater tokens, which, of course, are larger stat increases, naturally. And these unique ones can do all sorts of things. In this case, got a blessing for him to give him a healing for crits, which makes sense because he's a tank. So a way for him to heal himself would be very nice, since he's going to be at the front taking and landing hits all the time. I just got this one, Affliction of Hell. When hit, there's a 15% chance to spawn a poison tile under a nearby tile. That seems nice, because he's going to be taking hits all the time. I might actually swap that out. Yeah, let's do that. Can I not actually remove that? I might not be able to remove that once it's been set. Or you might need something specific to remove them. Interesting. Well, now I know, at least. There may have been a tip that actually said that I didn't read. It's probably my fault. Let's give him some more health. And let's see, who else could use some stuff? Her. She's a little squishy. I just got her. She's only level 2. And I should probably swap that out with a greater attack. I have 2 of them, so... Oh, you can't remove those either? Unless I'm missing a control. Assigned tokens can be destroyed again. Oh, you have to destroy them. How do I do that? Do I have to... This button? No. I'm actually not sure how to do that. I don't know how to destroy a token. I guess I'll have to find that out later. Okay. Well, for now, I don't really want to give her that, because she's very squishy. I don't need her to be getting hit all the time. Now, him, he gets hit a lot anyway. I think that's fine. Oh, it actually changes their base a little bit. That's cool. I just got her as well. She's an archer. She's been very useful. She's a figurine that I just unlocked. So, maybe giving her greater attack is a good idea. I'll do that. Greater attack skill means she hits more often. So that's a good thing. Okay, and finally, these. So, each of your figures has 3 skill cards they can unlock. They are cooldown based. In fact, almost everything in this game is cooldown based, which you'll see that's the change from being turn based. Everything is actually based on cooldown times. Even movement is. And these are your skills that you can use, but you can only choose one. They unlock more of them as they level up, but you can only choose one, as you can see, to go into battle with. I just unlocked Rain of Arrows for her. That seems really good, actually. You know what? Let's do that. Basically, like high damage crowd control? Yes, definitely. Now, some of them are pretty, like, useful, but you kind of have to choose, based on who you're going to take into the battle with you and what skills they have, which ones you want to pick. Because you can't take everyone with you. Different missions have different numbers of figures that you can take. Let's see. I think I'm pretty good with what I actually have now. I just got Swarm of Flies. I actually just got Spear Wall as well. Action Surge is really good, though. It's like a haste. Alright. There's also these. You have cards that you can take with you that will shuffle through. These are kind of like spells, and they cost a resource that you can get and find in mission. You get them from interacting with things, from killing enemies, and completing objectives, things like that. And so they're kind of like a limited resource that you get just from going on in the mission, so you can't spam these. These aren't cooldown based, but you only have 3 of these at any given time, and it shuffles through by drawing a random one each time you use one. And you can take this many, but all the others I have are locked. However, I just got Poison Jar. Leaves area of effect, dealing 3 damage per second for 10 seconds. Wow, that's actually a lot of damage. I would actually like to replace Bear Trap. I don't really use that anymore. Although that does cost 7. Wow. But, just in case, I'll take that. And you also have, finally, this, which is a shop. You can sell any of your gear that you don't want. Which I'd like to sell these. Oh, wait. I'm going to keep that. And sell that. And now, is there anything I would like to buy? Yes. I don't think so right now, but you never know. And then you can finally go on a mission. And there are lots of them. There are also 3 difficulties per mission that give you increasingly better rewards. You have to play a mission on the easiest difficulty first, and complete its optional objectives in order to unlock the next difficulty up, and then you have to do it again to get the better rewards, and then complete the optional objectives in that one to get the highest difficulty. That's how they work. You have this reputation level here, which shows you basically what your kind of average level is, you could say, and that will determine what you should be doing. So at 7, I probably shouldn't be doing a 9 battle reputation mission, and definitely shouldn't be doing a 17 one, because I will probably get myrtleized. So these ones I should not be doing. I've already done these 4. So if I go somewhere else, you'll see other kinds of missions. This one is an 11, which maybe I could do, but I don't really trust myself because that was actually kind of a tough one. Here's a 5, which, shouldn't be too hard. I could probably do that, so I'm going to go ahead and show you this board. And as you'll see, you have to choose units. I can choose 3. So I'm going to take my tank. Probably shouldn't have put him in the way. I'm going to also take my archer so I can start getting her leveled up. And I'm going to take my spearman because he's really useful being able to attack from an extra range a little bit. He's got an attack range of 2 because spear. And he's just generally quite useful. And all of this leading up to now has probably reminded you of something like, say, XCOM a little bit. Leveling up your individual people, making sure you're taking your lower leveled ones on easier missions to get them higher level, equipping them individually, all their skills, all that stuff. However, the actual mission itself, not so much. And this is where the kind of really unique part comes in, where the actual gameplay is really a mesh of several genres in a pretty unique way. So, the Trial of Tyr. And yes, this is very Norse themed. There are waves that are going to assault our position, have to defend the flag, and not lose the village square. Alright. Here we go. So, as you can see, the entire board is actually a miniature board, deliberately stylized to be like, well, miniatures. Like, 20 bandit waves. Oh, good holy lord. So if I zoom out all the way, you can actually see that it is floating in space like it's a tabletop game. On purpose. It looks like that, it's meant to. Which is really cool. And here they come. As you can see, it is not at all turn-based. So the combat is automatic. When 2 figures get close to each other, they will start fighting. And the circles beneath represent health. If I pause for a minute here, you can see, well, first of all, it pauses, but you'll be able to see a couple of things. You can control the camera, and that positioning is immensely important in this game. You can drag your figures all around to, of course, move them, but also when you drag them around, you'll be able to see their movement ranges and where their sort of regions of accessibility to attack are, and flanking is a big deal. So you can't really manipulate them during pause. However, you can slow time, and during slow time you can. So if I move her back a little bit, move him this way, move him back. There we go. Okay, so I can earn extra battle points, which are these that I can spend on these cards by spawning a wave early, a bit like a tower defense. Again, another genre that is taking inspiration from. He's now hurt quite badly. However, I see this, which is a consumable. There are also consumables that you can pick up around the place in order to do various things. That is your movement cooldown timer, that little circle that fills up. There we go. And I'm now going to drink that mead, heal him. Okay. I also see this, which is a grinding stone, which is a basically guaranteed hit on next attack with a bunch of extra damage, which is actually pretty good for a bow user. So this gives us some time to prepare, but I think we're pretty much prepared. I just want to get... I'd like to have her on the high ground, because, archer, makes sense. What is that? Oil bomb? Yes. Never had one of those. Throw out enemy, ignite them, 3 damage per second, 12 seconds, ignite certain interactable objects. Oh, really? The boards can actually get very complex and very interactable with lots of traps and other things around as well. Like you would expect for a tabletop game, the board is not just a static piece of scenery. And here we go. I earned 1 extra battle point because I did not do that early. I just let it go. So who knows where they're going to be coming from? Right over there. Okay, now from her vantage point up there, I could fire a rain of arrows. Although I don't want to do that right yet. Okay. Let them approach. Although I probably should have my tank also approaching. Make sure the rain of arrows is ready to fire. It automatically slows when you go to use a skill card, but you can turn that off in the options menu. I have my tank approaching, and flank him. Don't need the rain of arrows this time. That would put it on cooldown for a while, so I might as well just save it for when I need it. Positioning, flanking, and everything is very, very important. Alright. Might as well get them battle points. We're going to need them, probably. In fact, having the poison jar and stuff like that is very valuable for this particular wave. Or this mission, it seems like. And the consumables do respawn, which is going to be probably a huge deal. Alright. Get that rain of arrows ready. Actually, probably going to need to move her forward. That's not a very good place. There we go. Do some extra damage. Intercept that. And that actually... Oh, I actually don't have her shooting. I forgot you have to manually aim with the archer. Not bad. And we are taking minimal damage in the waves. And this seems completely doable actually so far, but I'm sure it's going to get more difficult. And this is generally how it goes, although this is a very small board. Some of them are much larger and involve an actual adventure through a large area. Obviously this one is a wave-based kind of defense mission, so it doesn't move around a big area. This is smaller. But yeah, this is generally how the game works, and some of the missions you can take up to like, I think 4 or 5 figures, and actually get quite challenging as a result of that, because you have a lot more to do and defend. And if you hold shift, you can actually move all of your figures at once. Where'd that oil bomb go? Okay. Just gonna wait for them to approach. Alright, shield wall. And surge for the extra DPS. Is Rain of Arrows ready? Yes, it is, although they're not really that close to each other. And nope, that's not really a good time to use it. And his passive just went off. Okay, well that was a little bit rough. We are going to have to use that mead on her. I do have a healing passive, but I haven't drawn it right now. So what I'll probably do is use that war horn. When they show up and see if I draw it. There it is. And rain of arrows. And fire. Nice. Flank them. Multiple consecutive attacks on one enemy, don't get flanked, can actually interrupt their attacks as well. Timing is important. Oh hey, a chest showed up. Extra equipment. Extra gold. Oh crap, a lot of extra gold, wow. I think this is meant to be quite a challenging one to last through as well. Alright, well, that's basically the gist of Wartile. It's genuinely quite interesting. The ideas around it are kind of fascinating. Oh yeah. No? And I really have enjoyed my time with it so far. It gets actually really kind of difficult later on. and I have seen some of the later missions in some previews, and I'm not sure I look forward to doing some of that. It looks pretty tricky, but I'm definitely going to try. Some of the extra figures you can get are kind of cool too, because of their abilities do synergize with each other quite well, and they give you some really good choices with what you're expected to do, you know, what you can choose between as a team. So team synergies, team composition. Excuse me. Alright. I see. So you actually have to pick up, like, basically all of the consumables by the looks of it for them to come back. Let's make them fight each other for a second. Well, she... Can I do this? Yeah, kind of. Alright, so you can actually target open hexes with that. Good to know. So if you're a fan of like real-time strategy or just strategy games in general, obviously this isn't what you think of when you hear RTS necessarily, but it is, I mean, it is one by definition, just not traditionally what you would think of. If you're a fan of interesting genre meldings, if you're a fan of Norse themes, Wartile is actually really good. And of course, if you're a fan of miniatures, if you're a fan of, like, you know, tabletop games, this actually evokes that feel in a pretty cool way. Ow. That has a pretty long cooldown, actually, which is to be expected. It's a lot of damage. Does this? No. It doesn't leave like a patch of fire that you can mess around with. But I really, really like it. Alright, come on. A little closer. A little more. I mean, that's actually fairly effective, and it makes them dance in a very silly manner. So I approve of that. Okay. Pick that up. Use it on him. Okay. This is actually getting a little bit out of hand. No, that's not gonna actually do that much. You jump there. You kind of get right there. You go there. You go there. You start shooting. Oh boy. Okay. We gained control back. Although these archer dudes are seriously annoying because of their tendency to run away. Ow. Now he is backed into a corner, however, and cannot do that. Thank you. Need some more healing for our archer. She's quite squish. But yeah, that's Wartile. I think anyone interested in those things should definitely give it a try, and it's actually quite beautiful and would probably make for some really good desktop backgrounds. It is $20 on Steam, which I think is a really fair price. Actually, it's an indie price for a pretty large game, actually, and it's definitely well made. Like I said, it's a bit rough around the edges. I've seen some animation decoupling, and I actually can't go full screen in it. I have to do borderless full screen, or it gives me some really weird screen flickering. But those are the only problems I've actually had with it. I haven't had any sort of weird other crazy glitches or anything like that, so I would consider that pretty solid, honestly. And other than that, yeah, I'd say that is an excellent price for a very fantastic, kind of almost throwback feeling genre melding that gives me some nostalgia and some really good feelings of very solid mechanical combinations. Ow, damn. I might lose her, actually. If you lose a figurine, by the way, they are gone for the entirety of that mission, effectively, unless you find a checkpoint and are able to restart from that checkpoint. You don't lose them permanently, like for the rest of the game or anything, it's just for that mission. So try not to do that. Now... not what I was hoping for, I need that heal. Oh, did we lose it? I guess we let them go too near it. I didn't think about that. Can I get our heal if I just use this really quick? Yes, I can. Can I do anything about that? Not really. That's unfortunate. I guess we're still in it, but I probably should not have let that happen. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to click the like button, leave a comment if you wish, and subscribe for more. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.